Smileys Plastering, providing award-winning plastering and rendering services for over 25 years. I will handle everything from a small repair to a whole commercial building inside and out. Get a free quote day or night and every job gets a Smileys touch. Give us a call on 0417 730 926 or visit the website smileysplastering.com.au.
Congratulations on reaching 300 games since I met you last. When you were getting close to that mark, was it something playing on your mind?
Not really. I think you're trying to just think about your next games, your next tournaments, and it did sneak up quite quickly, I guess. It's obviously something that as it got closer, probably in that tournament, you start to think a little bit about, and I think those milestones always give you a chance to reflect a little bit and look back on your career, but up until it happens, I try not to think about it too much. I'm a little bit superstitious and don't want to think about it too much and something go wrong, and so I think you kind of wait till it happens and then celebrate with your teammates the achievement rather than prepping too much for it. I think well, in Australia for the women we've only had 2 achieve it. Overseas you do get a handful that have played 300 but not many, so it's very rare you would have more than say a handful around the place that have played 300 in the women's game at one time. So I think it is a big achievement and it's something that's not easy to do, but there are girls over the last few years that have achieved it.
And you've passed Nikki Hudson's record now.
Yeah.
Have you got a goal in mind of where you see it ending up? And what did Nikki say about your passing her record?
Yeah, Nick was really great. I heard from her, I think just before I broke it or just after, just congratulating me and even from some of her family, which I was pretty touched by, that they took the time to say well done, and that even though I passed Nikki's record, that they were very supportive and very happy and proud of me. And especially coming from someone like Nick, who was my captain when I started, obviously one of the great names in Aussie women's hockey. So to have someone like her just, you know, not be put off by the fact that her record's been broken, but to embrace it and celebrate it with me, I thought was pretty special from her.
Now, talking of celebrating, you were given something, but it's all very top secret.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was top secret. The girls put together something for me which was really special. Often you get certain gifts for different milestones, but the girls had organised this book that basically a lot of the players I'd played against internationally over the years had contributed to. So I think it might have been Rach Lynch that kind of drove getting in contact with the girls overseas. So there's, you know, Dutch girls, Korean girls, Argentinian girls, German girls that I've played against for a lot of years, all contributed a message, I guess, to the book. And then our creative girls like Georgia Nanscorn kind of wrote it in and decorated it, and so it's something that I'm going to have forever, that I can look back and see players that I played against and have their message, I guess, of congratulations and support. And we're often like really tough rivals out on the pitch, but it's nice to have that kind of bond, I guess, away from the pitch. I don't know those girls very well, but to have them take the time to send a message and say congratulations was really special. And the girls put it together really well, and obviously all my teammates wrote in it as well. So some were very sincere and some were just pretty funny. So it's nice to have that good mix.
Was there one particular person that you were surprised either by their message or?
It's pretty interesting when you get the translation from like one of the Korean girls. The girls obviously tried very hard to translate it into English, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But I think those girls, because they're always so reserved, because you don't have that, you can't, like, they don't speak English, I don't speak Korean or Chinese or whatever it might be with the girls from Asia. You don't often have that bond to sit and chat after a game, but there's still that mutual respect, which I think is always really important. What's
after hockey for Madonna Blyth?
Oh, that's a good question. I think I'm still trying to work through it at the moment, but you know, hockey's been the #1 thing in my life in terms of having a job or whatever for the last 10 or 12 years. So the next step's pretty scary, you know, going out into the real world, and I guess finding something that I'm as passionate or nearly as passionate about as what I've been about my sport for the last, well, since I was a little kid. I think that's the big challenge, is finding something that I feel really strongly about, and that will take me on another journey, hopefully, after I finish hockey.
Well, Mum and Dad are teachers. Have you thought about going into that profession?
Not at all, no. I was very lucky to have 2 teachers growing up as parents. It's definitely not something that I can see myself going into. So yeah, it's definitely not my thing. They're very good at it. I think I would be terrible. I think it was always important for them that obviously I do well at school and that kind of thing, and not just be one of those kids that just, even though all I wanted to do was to play hockey for my country, they kind of, I guess, at a young age instilled the other important things like doing well at school. You know, even lessons like when you commit to something, you're committed to it. You can't get out of it. You don't say no to it. Once you say yes, you're in, and you're in. And that was important to me. So I think it was great that they were teachers, and it was great that they were sport lovers, because I think all the important lessons that I learned about my sport and about myself as an athlete, you learn pretty young. And I was very lucky, to have two great role models, I guess, shape me and how I am as a person, but also as an athlete.
All right, there's something they call the elevator pitch. I'm sure you know what that means. You've got 30 seconds to sell yourself to someone as you go up in the elevator to the next floor. So if you were looking for a job and I was a future employer, what is it about Madonna Blyth that would make me want to give you a job?
Well, I have been part of a team my whole life. I'm committed. When I commit to something, I'm in. All hands on deck. I work hard. I can work under pressure. Any great athlete can work bloody hard and work hard under pressure, but I think most of all, if you want me to do something, I'll give it everything and I'll make sure that it's as perfect as it can be.
Got any qualifications?
I did a Bachelor of Justice a few years ago, so a lot of stuff about social work, criminology, why crime happens, how we can stop it, and a lot of stuff, like society type issues. So I do have a Bachelor of Justice in there, and it's something I'm very interested in and quite passionate about.
Madonna, as the Hockeyroos captain, you're certainly one of the most high-profile female sports people in Australia. How do you feel about the gender equality pay scenarios?
Yeah, it's something that obviously is in the forefront of everyone's mind at the moment with all that's going on around it, not only in Australia, but we also see the soccer girls in America going through something very similar. And I think it is a big issue because, you want to be, I think as a female athlete, it's not about the money, it's not about being paid a certain amount, it's about having the same respect that perhaps the male counterparts get as male athletes in Australia, for example. We like to see ourselves as professional, we train professionally and we'd love to be supported the same. And I think that in the big organisations where it's easier to say the men generate more money, yes they do, but they also get the opportunity they're on TV more, so they do get the opportunity as male athletes to generate that income for, say, Cricket Australia, for example. But I think that it should be Cricket Australia is not men or women, it's both. So if it's part of an organisation that's making a lot of money, then that money should be distributed not equally, but fairly. I think that's what everyone's asking. And I think obviously in hockey we do it very well. It's 50-50. We have female, male athletes right through from your minkies to your vets and masters that are generally split pretty evenly. At the elite level, we're looked after pretty fairly. And I think that what you want to see is women being respected as elite athletes around the world. And whether that means getting paid a little bit more so people take you more seriously, so that you can train full time to be able to have the same opportunities to get yourself on TV, compete at the highest level, be a professional athlete. I think that's the most important thing, is being valued. And when you've got organisations making millions and millions and millions of dollars, I think the split can be a little bit more fair in terms of what the men and women get paid.
So why do you think that women's sport is not attractive to television? I find it a bit of a quandary myself.
Well, I think that it is. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I don't think that it's been put out there enough for people to have an opinion, to be honest. We see maybe a couple of sports, female sports, here and there get shown, but people in Australia love sport. If you put any sport on, people will watch it, they'll get involved, they'll learn who the players are, they'll pick a team to support. So I think get it out there, get more women's sport on TV, and people will jump on board. It's only natural. Aussies love sport. Both men and women will sit and watch male and female sport. I don't just sit and watch female sport. I love watching the guys run around playing AFL, playing any of the sports. And I think men are the same. They are happy to watch female athletes compete at the highest level, and I just think if we get it out there, if we promote it, it builds, it grows, and then we're not having these debates about gender equality, we're just talking about sport and athletes.